Right now, the BYU Record Linking Lab is working on a project to try to identify the names and information of every single U.S. soldier that died in World War I. We think there was over 100,000 soldiers who died. About half of them died of the flu. And so we're trying to create this list and make sure that all of them are on the family tree so they can be remembered and honored by their family members. So if you'd like to help with this project, we have 2 ways you can help right now, and we'll be adding others in the future. The way you help is just to go to our volunteer portal, which is bit.ly/RLL_volunteer, and that link will be in the comments section. And when you come in here, you can just scroll down and you'll see that there is this section about World War I U.S. casualties. So this first task I'm going to show you, there's some instructions. There's also another video about it, but let's just jump right into the data sheet. So all of our projects are built around Google Spreadsheets that allow you to pick where you want to start. And so if you hit Control down, it'll take you to the next open spot. So in this case, I'm going to type in my name and check out a few. And again, if I hit Control down, I can just paste a few. So I'm looking at Oscar Schmid, who is in New York, and James. So you can see these are going to be the guys I'm going to focus on. And these were all people that we couldn't find through our automated ways. So for some reason, we're missing them. And so what we're going to do is look and see if we can find them in a public member tree on Ancestry.com. So what we're going to do is log into Ancestry.com. So you'll need an Ancestry account to help with this project. But this will also be a good way to show you how to search for people in public member trees, because that can be really helpful when you're doing your own family history. And again, with all our projects, one of the ideas is to try to use these projects as a way to give people skills that will help them with their own family history. So we're going to click on Search and go to Public Member Trees. And now in this case, let's look at the person we're looking for. So right here we have Oscar. So we'll copy his information. Okay, and we're going to put that here. Now, we don't know a lot about these people, but one of the nice things about searching on Ancestry is you can put in a place. So it looks like he was living in New York City, New York. So this one's actually probably going to be a little tougher, just because New York is such a big place. So we might not have as much success with this one. The other thing we know is that he died in 1918 in France. So those will be the fields that we search. And again, this isn't going to work all the time, but what we're hoping for is to find a soldier who fits that criteria with that same name. So in this case, I didn't find anyone, so I'm just going to put a dash, and we'll just move to the next one. And so again, I'm just going to copy this name. And the great thing is when I'm working on people that are from the same place, then I can just come back into my edit history, edit the search, change this. There we go. And I'm just using the hotkeys to control and copy. Okay, so here's James Saunders Oxali. Okay, and you can see here, so this one died in New York in 1918. And so sometimes it is possible that the person is listed as dying in the United States, because sometimes it's based on where they were buried. But in this case, I'm not finding anyone again. So I'm going to put a dash there. And so actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to move to a smaller place in the country, just so we can have a little more success. So right here, we have this place called Keyser, Nebraska. Okay. So again, I just copy this name. I come in here. I'm going to edit search. Okay. And then I'm down here. I'm going to put Keyser, Nebraska. Okay. So here we have, you can see that this first one's a fantastic match. We have Private Charles Arnold Keyser, died in France in 1918. So we'll click on that. And so we found the public member tree for him. And so what we're going to do, and you can see that also many of these public member trees have links to the census records, information about their parents. So we're going to copy that code right here. And now the last thing we want to do is find this person on FamilySearch. So we're going to look for them, and there's a couple of ways to search for them. So let me show you one that someone shared with us recently that seems to work really well. We're going to go to Family Tree, Find, and so we're going to paste in the information right here. And what it turns out is that, so here we have, he's born in 1890 in Nebraska. Okay, and we could start there, and if we need to, what's often helpful is to bring in information about the father and mother, which we can see right here in this public member tree. So let's just look just on those 2 fields right there. And so here's our person. You can see he died in France, so that is perfect. So then we just copy the ID, we bring that over here, and we've now found that person. And so our hope is to try to find as many of the soldiers who died in the war on the family tree if they're already there. Now, if Charles hadn't been on the tree, what I would have done is I would have added him as an unconnected person, and then I would have brought sources over and tried to document him and keep branching out until I crashed into the tree. We find that almost all of these soldiers at least have parents or grandparents who are on the tree. So you don't have to add a lot of people, and then that soldier will be connected to the tree. And then the nice thing about that is people will be able to see how they're related to these soldiers because they'll be connected to the broader part of the tree. Let me show you one other way you can help. So again, with this first way that I showed you, you can just jump in anywhere on the sheet. You could even pick a state where you live, or someone who has the same last name as you, and just check it out by putting your name in the volunteer column, and then once you've found it, then just putting in the public member tree and the FamilySearch ID. Now the other way that you can help is we have, let me just open up the instructions for this so you can see it. There's a fantastic book on the archive.org website called Soldiers of the Great War, and it includes pictures of thousands of soldiers who died in World War I. So I'll just show you this book really quick. We can kind of zoom into the middle. So right here you can see that we have these really nice pictures of soldiers who died in the war. And so we are trying to find each of these soldiers on the tree and then uploading a photo if they don't have one already. If they already have a photo, that's great. We just want to make sure that each of these soldiers is remembered and honored, and one way to do that is by having a photo of them on the family tree that people can look at and remember these people. And so in this case, what we would do is we would come into, we click this link right here, and it's going to drop us into this sheet. And you can see that people have already started to help us for Alabama. And again, it's the same process. It tells you, the sheet will tell you which page to go to. So in this case, John D. Bruner is on page 73. So if I come back here, you can see right now I'm on page 135. So if I back up to page 73, I'll be able to find this John Bruner. Okay, so just one more back. Okay, and so you can see John should be on this page right here. Oops. And so we'd want to zoom in. A lot of times what I'll do is I'll just download the book so that I can use a normal PDF viewer to zoom in. But what we need to do now is to find John Bruner on the tree. And again, we're going to use kind of the same things we did before, where we're going to search for him in a public member tree, or search for them directly on FamilySearch. So let's just try it here on FamilySearch. So we have John D. Bruner. Let's go back to our sheet right here. So John D. Bruner, he's from Ashford, Alabama. Okay, so that might not be his birthplace, but we can use that as a start. And then another thing is we can just put in a broad birth year range. Most of the soldiers were born in that. And then we can put in Ashford, Alabama. Okay, and fine. Let's just see if we can get a good match right here. And so you can see this first one wouldn't be our guy because he died in 1931. Now the one thing to check for is in the sheet, it will tell you if they were wounded in action. And so if they were wounded in action, it'll show up in this column. So John D. Bruner was not wounded in action. So in this case, what I would do is I do a little bit of sleuthing to see if I can find him either on Ancestry or on FamilySearch. And if he's on FamilySearch, I'd put the PID so we know where he is. And if he's not on FamilySearch, I'd add him to the family tree, find other sources for him, try to document his life, and then try to connect him to the tree so people could see how they're related to him. Again, feel free to use the instructions and let us know if you find ways to make this process better. But the real goal is just to find every single one of the U.S. soldiers who died in the war and try to make sure that they have a profile on FamilySearch. Thanks for your help with this.